Hi, welcome to a new video. In this video I want to talk about how you can stay cool in your campervan, whether that's a larger one or a smaller one. I mean, especially like with mine with a little bit of micro camper, you know, it does get really stuffy in here. So these are the little tips that I can share anyway. First of all, I've got to say this, that I'm filming on what is one of the hottest days of the year so far in the UK. The temperatures, like I say, are hot at the moment. I mean, I've got one of these little temperature gauges. Basically, I've got a little probe that I can put outside and everything else. And I'll put it on the screen what it was after I'd just gone for like a 10-minute walk, just to see what the temperatures were like. And I put the outside one in the shade. It was about 6 degrees. It was saying it near enough 38 degrees in here. Again, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this is fully calibrated, so I can't trust that, but there was a 6 or 7 degree difference, and I'd only left the probe outside like 10 minutes, so that could be a lot different. And again, this was only left for 10-20 minutes while I had that quick walk. I mean, we're in the UK, we don't get that many good days, but when we do, it can be a killer. And so that's the one thing that I would say is basically, if you are in your camper or out and about or anything like that, is basically make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you've got water with you at all times, make sure if you're in, you're sleeping, you've got water to hand very quickly, and that, because heat, dehydration and everything else can be bad, and it can be a killer in some instances. So just always make sure you stay hydrated. I know that's obvious, but I just thought I'd just point that out. The one main thing though is choosing your park up right, whether that's for day or night, whatever, is try and make sure you're in a place of shade. Now, that can be difficult in certain circumstances, like where I am at the moment. I think it's about 3 o'clock, so the sun is near enough overhead, and there is really no shade properly in this car park to be able to park anywhere in the shade. So you may have to move your van and everything else, because the cooler you can actually keep your van to start off with, the easier it is to get rid of that heat, really. I mean, again, it may seem obvious, but keep as many windows and doors open and everything else as possible to let the air flow actually through. And that, I mean, the only problem is with like, some camper vans like your Transits, you may only have one small window at the back. I do have the advantage with this little one. I do have 4 windows at the back because it was a car originally, so they can open, but they do only open, I mean, the back ones only open like about 1 inch, the other one opens around about 2 inches, but then at least it lets a little bit of air through. But again, once you've got back, if you've just been on a trip out or visiting anywhere or something like that, once you get back to the van, have the doors open. Like I'm sitting in the back of the van at the moment, under the boot, I've got the one door open there, so there's a nice airflow. Well, there's a nice flow of air actually coming through. I mean, talking about flow of air, I mean, if you have got like an air vent at the top, have that either extracting air out, your hot air out, or if you can have it blowing in. Again, that would depend on the system that you've got. I mean, I haven't got an air vent in the top of this, so can install fans. And I mean, personally, I have this little thing, which I've put off a car boot or something, I think for about £2. You've got little fans on there. It's got 3 powers, and I mean, it's even got LED lighting. And the advantages with this, for me anyway, because of those small gaps, I can either jam it like there or have it hanging up off my bit where I put the my tablet for the TV, and that, so I can direct the air wherever I need it to be. So that is one thing. Invest in like something like this. I mean, again, these are on Amazon. Again, anything that I've talk about the affiliate links down in the description as well, but yeah, they're like I say, less than a £5 or something like that, and it's rechargeable. So just again, always make sure you've got it charged up as well, like with anything really, to make sure your van is prepared. So a little thing. And again, if you really do want, this is designed to go around the neck to keep you cool. I don't use it for that, but it's mainly in here for that. One thing to keep your van cool while you're out or anything like that is to put shades up. The kind of things that you see people put in the windscreens that have got the silver foil and everything else. Have all window coverings if possible, especially if you've got like the reflective bubble wrap type of things or anything else, because as the sun hits that, then it's going to bounce it back a little bit. I have, again, the advantage my windows are blacked out, so that helps a little bit, and then I can just put those up in the window, and then that will reflect a little bit of heat back. I mean, with the curtains, I'll talk about that in another video, because I went through so many iterations as well on how to actually get curtains in this one, and it went on. So I'll show you that in another video. Again, I mean, if you haven't got that many windows or anything else, again, if you've just got the cab area and it's a bigger vehicle, again, get window coverings for the front. Again, you're not as stealthy, especially if that's going to be at night, but at least it's going to slightly keep you cool. Again, the same thing with being stealthy. Again, if you've got your windows open or fans going, again, you're not going to be stealthy. So just bear that in mind, depending on actually where you are. I mean, on days like this, especially in this camper, if you've got everything closed, you don't really want to be cooking inside here. I mean, I just have the little stove that fits on top of here that I cook on, and you know, if you even that on for like 5 minutes to boil up water, it gets really warm in here. So again, for me, you know, if I am somewhere where I don't want to be stealthy and I can have this open and it's not that late, I actually took it off, but basically I've got a little strip that goes on there that then basically I've got an external table. I don't always carry it around with me, but if I did, then I can set it up out here and then I can cook outside, so that's easy. Again, the same as doing if you're doing a drink or anything like that, if it is possible, you know, do that outside, because you don't want that warmth staying in here, because then again, you've still got to get rid of that heat somehow as well. Again, on things that generate heat inside your van, I mean, think of if you've got a laptop, or you know, you've got even a cooler, you know, to keep your things cool, a fridge or anything like that. Yes, they're keeping everything cool, but they're getting rid of that heat somehow. And again, charging things up it may only be a little bit of heat, especially if you're charging a laptop or anything else up, but that heat adds to everything. So again, if you can charge that up elsewhere, or again, charge that up while you've got windows and doors and everything open. So again, that heat isn't staying in here. It just comes back to that. You don't want to get as much heat in here as possible, because you want that heat out and you want to keep it as cool as possible in here. I mean, this other one may be an obvious one, but try and stay out of your van as much as possible. You know, so if you've parked up for the day, just go a little bit of a wander or whatever. I'm in a foresty area at the moment, so I can just go in a wander and get some shade, because then at least your body heat isn't again adding to that heat inside. Our body heat doesn't do that much, but you know, if you've got a few of you, and it depends on the size of the van, because again, most of the time I come away, it's only me, so it's not too bad. But if the missus was in here as well, then you know, that amount of heat can be a problem, just especially from your body. I mean, I did do one, I think last year, when we did have like 28, 29 degrees. Have a look at that. I stopped at Kingsbury Water Park at the time, so see how I actually survived in this van. I mean, as a last resort, if you do want to stay cool, I mean, this isn't again for the UK, because we only get like 1 or 2 days a year, so it ain't that bad. But install an actual air conditioner within the back of your van. I'm not talking about your cab or your car air conditioner, because yes, I mean, again, while driving, have that on, keep that cool. So again, once you pull up somewhere, it should be a little bit cooler. I mean, in my van here, I've got some extra air vents and a little fan there, so it will actually pour air from the front to the back as well. So if I'm driving and it is a warm day, I have that on and the aircon on, so then at least it's a little bit cooler in the back. But yes, like I say, you can get for proper air cons for in the back of here. I mean, yes, you can get those cheap ones that you see in the supermarkets in the summer, where you put ice or whatever in and it tries to do it. The problem is with those is, you know, you haven't got ice really in here, because then you've got to have your fridge or freezer on to keep that cool, which is then producing heat. So it's just one of those. So you could invest in a proper air conditioner, but really, I mean, some of my viewers are from around the world, like Australia and everything else, so at the end of the day, yes, in places like that it would be better. In the UK, to be honest, I wouldn't recommend it. And again, for something that is my size, you know, that's really not practical anyway. Well, anyway, thanks for watching this little video. Again, these are my personal tips. Yeah, so these may not work for everybody else. These are what work for me, and just other little ideas that I've come up with. But again, if you have any ideas yourself, please leave them in the comments, because the idea of this, these videos is for me to share my knowledge, but also, you know, for us to learn from other people, because everybody else has different ways of dealing with things, and that's good, and that's how we learn and everything else. And again, I may have completely forgot anything and got something wrong, which a lot of the time I do probably, but again, anyway, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So bye for now. Bye.